What's going on, folks? Zach from Uchuu Shelf here. Hope you guys are doing good and reading lots of manga. It's been a while since I've been here. I haven't done one of these here, what are they called? Manga hauls. I haven't done a manga haul in quite some time. A lot has happened since I was last in front of the camera, so I'll give you a quick rundown. I moved. That's the rundown. I just moved. No more disgusting purple wall. We just got a nice two-tone black and white. Maybe I'll give you guys like a room tour one day. Definitely not today because we're doing a manga haul. That's a completely separate video. I gotta save that for views. Now, full disclosure, I don't really remember what was on my last manga haul. Well, why don't you just go watch your last manga haul then? Shut up. So a couple things on this manga haul might be from a previous manga haul. If you're like super into the lore of Uchuu Shelf, you'll know that nothing here is professional. Everything is on the fly, and I will forget. But one thing I'm not gonna forget is to tell you guys to like, subscribe, comment, share, yada yada. You guys know the whole YouTube spiel by now. All your support, it just helps. That's how like YouTube works. But I don't want to waste any more of your precious time. Let us jump right into this manga haul. First up on the manga haul, we've got omnibuses 8 and 9 of Gantz by Hiroya Oku. I think this series is pretty much wrapping up its omnibus releases, and knowing Dark Horse, they're probably going to come out with like big old editions that are like yay by yay big, hardcover, and I'm still going to have to buy them because that's just how consumerism works. Now, the reason I'm super excited to have these two omnibuses of Gantz is because these are right in the throes of my favorite arc, the Osaka arc. And if you don't feel like reading all through Gantz and you're like, not for me. It's not for me. You can go check out the movie Gantzo. It pretty much perfectly sums up the whole Gantz Osaka arc, minus a few things that it skips over because of lack of context and presumably lack of runtime. I still maintain that if you're a collector, Omnibus Edition is probably not the way to go because the second you open them, as you can see by Gantz Omnibus 1, look at that crack. That's not the good crack either. Next up, we've got Dororo by Osamu Tezuka. Admittedly, for as long as I've been reading manga, I have not read a lot of Tezuka's manga. Now, he's considered the godfather of manga by most, I believe. Now, this year I've been kind of making it my mission to read more Osamu Tezuka manga. I've really only read Phoenix, and I've watched Astro Boy a lot when I was a kid. So I am moderately familiar with his work and kind of his general influence on manga as a whole, but I haven't really experienced it for myself. Now, I absolutely love the Dororo anime that Mappa did, and I dived into this, and I love it just as much, if not a little bit more, because I am a bit of a sucker for kind of that old style of manga. On that note, I also got Ode to Kirihito, which is a short story collection of his more darker, mature work. And I was really intrigued by this one because I wanted to see what more darker, mature themes might come out of an Osamu Tezuka manga. As I mentioned, I've really only read Phoenix and watched Astro Boy, which are anime and manga that are geared a little bit more towards a younger audience. I've only read a couple of the short stories in here, and I gotta say, Osamu Tezuka, pretty mid. No, I'm kidding. He's pretty good. He's all right. While we're on the topic of short story collections, I also got Daisuke Igadashi's Witches, the complete collection, which is, my God, I'm gonna have to make another video about this specifically because I'm about this far through, and then I started rereading it again because I wanted to read it all in one sitting. My God, it is so friggin' good. Which I honestly should have expected because Children of the Sea was phenomenal. And by the way, if you haven't read it or at least seen the movie, stop what you're doing and go experience it. It's hard to really describe. It's unsettling, it's weird, but it's also just really fucking good. Like, this is a bunch of short stories about witches throughout the world. Like, there's Asia, Europe. It's so incredible just to see kind of the common theme of witches being persecuted throughout history and kind of all the trials and the heartaches and the trauma that comes with being a witch back in the day. Next up on the haul, we've got Sensei's Pious Lie by Akane Torikai. This manga is not really something that I normally read, but I wanted to make an effort this year to read manga that's kind of outside my comfort zone, outside the kind of general things that I read. So I picked this up on the recommendation of a lot of people that I trust on Twitter and on social media. And this manga like absolutely does not hold back on a lot of really uncomfortable topics. It follows a young school teacher who becomes enamored by her friend's fiance and one of her own students, and throws this young teacher through all of the complex emotions that come from desire, sex, violence. It's so enthralling. Like, I picked it up thinking I would only read a couple chapters, put it down, and then never touched again like most of this. But this manga captivated me like pretty much instantly. And quick fun fact, Akane Torikai is actually Inio Asano's wife. So it's kind of interesting to see that there is a married couple out in the world that creates absolutely incredible manga. Next up on the manga haul, we've got volume 3 and volume 4 of Taiyo Matsumoto's number 5. Try to keep up with the numbers. This manga I am incredibly excited to finally own. I haven't read it since Omnibus 1. I'm gonna binge it all as soon as I finish recording here, now that I finally have Omnibus 4, because for whatever reason, it was a pain in the ass to get here in the UK. Now, while number 5 is not my favorite Taiyo Matsumoto manga, I love it because it's kind of an all-encompassing experience of his artistic talent. You get a really good overview for where all of his artistic inspiration comes from. You get to see him just go wild on every page. And I know in recent years, Taiyo Matsumoto has kind of settled down and started writing more human-driven stories that are less fantastical and more bittersweet. And as much as I love those, I really want Taiyo Matsumoto to just for one volume or one chapter, even one page, return to his roots of just this off-the-walls mysticism, fantasy. It's obviously his bread and butter, to me at least. Maybe he doesn't feel that way. If you really want an all-encompassing experience as to just everything that makes Taiyo Matsumoto incredible, pick up volumes 1 through 4 of number 5 by Taiyo Matsumoto. Now, if you are interested in Taiyo Matsumoto's number 5, you can check the link in the description below for a review that I did of it sometime last year, or you can just go pick it up and read it for yourself and form your own. Don't do that, actually, because that would put me out of work. So don't do that. Next up, we have omnibuses 1 through 6 of Tenjo Tenge by Oh Great. You remember Tenjo Tenge, right? Now, this is one of those Facebook steals that I think the person who is selling these probably didn't really know what they had, because I got all 6 of these for about 20 pounds. And then karma kind of hit me because whoever delivered them was a jackass and left it in a puddle, and now they're all fucking stained. And they didn't want to do anything about it because that's just how every delivery company works. But I have been reading through this again, and my God, it really brings back that kind of high school testosterone of like, yep, flipping through a page, these guys are beating the shit out of each other. This is fantastic. But something that has been pleasantly surprising as well is because currently Oh Great is working on the Bakemonogatari manga adaptation. And it's really interesting to see kind of the style evolution and the stylistic differences between something like Tenjo Tenge and Bakemonogatari. But I think above all, it really makes me want to, how do I word this? Transfer to a high school and beat the shit out of teenagers. Now, the next 2 manga I'm going to show off in this manga haul are 2 of my biggest white whales that I finally got and I'm excited to share. These are 2 manga that I have always been interested in. I always wanted since their announcement, that I didn't have money for at the time, and that when I had money for, were horribly out of print. How I got these manga and the amount of money I spent getting them, not super proud of. I'll admit that to you guys. But I got them anyway, and that's all that matters. And that is Glaolia 1 and Glaolia 2 indie manga anthologies from Glacier Bay Books. And honestly, I think once I got these, I was like, I don't need to buy manga anymore. Sorry, I shouldn't buy manga anymore because I didn't really have any money. The story of how I got these and how I had to go and pick them up is a little much, I think, for 2 books in the grand scheme of things. So someone on Twitter brought to my attention that Glaolia 2 was in stock at The Beguiling. There was only 1 left, and I thought, okay, this works. I can get it ordered to my parents' house, and then my parents can ship it to me, and I don't have to pay shipping. And then someone in the Manga Collectors Discord DM'd me directly and said, hey, Glaolia 1 is in stock. There's only 1 left at the same comic shop. Ordered both of those. They didn't get sent to me. I ended up having to go to Canada. Not just solely for them. I was going to Canada anyway. If you really want to count all in all, the books, the shipping, the plane ticket, $1.50-ish. No, the books themselves were not relatively cheap, I should say, but oh my God, they're so good. The quality behind them, the production that's gone into them, you can tell that every page is just full of heart and soul, not just from the production of the book itself, but from all the different little stories that are in here from artists that would otherwise go overlooked. I'd say go and pick these up and read them, but you can't, they're out of print. Sorry, I'll let you know how they were though. Next up on the haul, we've got Yuto Suzuki's Sakamoto Days Volume 1. I'm glad this is finally in physical. I read the first couple chapters when it was coming out on the app, and I thought to myself, you know what? I really like this. I think I'm gonna collect this if and when it comes out in physical. But if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm kind of falling out of love with Shonen Jump. I'm still keeping up to date with Jujutsu Kaisen and Black Clover. But after the tragic, undeserved loss of both Red Hood and Ayashimon, I am really apprehensive about even giving a new series a try. I'm gonna go and rant and ruin this video if I keep going. But anyways, I have been wanting to read Sakamoto Days. I had a free book over at Waterstones. Went in there, grabbed this. Read through it, absolutely love it. I think I am going to continue collecting it. But I gotta be honest with you guys, I still am pretty apprehensive about not just collecting, but reading Sakamoto Days. there's just, I don't know, there's something about it that I feel like I'm going to get right into the hypest part of it, and they're going to cancel it, and it's going to have to wrap up in like 3 chapters, and it's going to be the most unsatisfying ending, but I'm going to knock wood because I do not want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. Next up, we have Yokoyama Yuichi's World Map Room. This is a mangaka that I have been trying to read a little bit more of because I have Outdoors and Iceland of theirs. His art style is this really eclectic blend of like shapes and speed lines and these really unique character designs. It's really hard for me to kind of put into words what reading a Yokoyama Yuichi manga is like, because it's kind of like saying, oh, this is what I feel about this painting over here. It's something you have to experience for yourself. It's something you have to kind of read, soak in, and put into your own words. So if you haven't checked out any Yokoyama Yuichi manga, there's this, Outdoors, Iceland. I know that there is a Kickstarter for a new manga of his called Plaza coming out, which I'll leave a link in the description below as well. Really, I think any of them are a good starting point for his work. It's just something you really got to jump into with both feet. Now, next up on the manga haul really puts into perspective how long it's been, not since I've done a proper video, but since I've done a manga haul in general, because this is stuff I got during Christmas. And this is actually a gift from my brother Fatal Flail. He's a Twitch streamer. You can check out his stuff over at twitch.tv/Fatal Flail. Leave links in the description below for where you can check that out if you enjoy watching video games. He plays like World of Warcraft and stuff like that as well. So if you're into that, you should definitely check him out. And he so generously, and I have to really underline the fact that he didn't have to do this, he absolutely did though. And it's volume 3 through 11 of the Bakemonogatari manga adaptation. Now, absolutely love this adaptation. I'm a huge Bakemonogatari fan. Senjo Gahara is best girl, by the way. If you want to know how this kind of stacks up to the light novel and the anime as well, I did a video, I think it was last year or the year before, I really honestly don't remember because time is nothing anymore. And the video kind of covers how well the source material translates into the medium of manga, compares it a little bit to the anime and the light novel itself. Now, if you're new to the Monogatari series, I think purists would say definitely read the light novel. If you're not super into reading words, and that's why you read manga like me, definitely check out the manga itself because I think it's a really well done adaptation. But I think above all, the anime is the best medium of Bakemonogatari, mostly because Akiyuki Shimbo absolutely just nailed every aspect of that adaptation. Now, next up is a manga that I'm 99% certain I have shown in another haul, but I'm going to show it here again just to be safe because I'm pretty certain I got this towards the end of 2021, and that is F by Imai Arata. I did actually review this manga. It is the last video I made before I kind of took a break and then tried a couple other things. So if you do want to know what that's like, check it out. I'll leave links in the description or just go over to my channel. Now, this will always be the most underground manga that I ever recommend on this channel and I ever cover on this channel because I don't think it sold many copies in Japan. I think under 100 copies if I remember correctly. And I don't know how many copies it sold outside of Japan, but I don't imagine it being that huge of a number. Now, F by Imai Arata, I believe might be out of print or it's going to be close to out of print, so you should definitely check this out and pick it up if you haven't already. There isn't a digital edition to my knowledge. There might be now, but if you go over to Glacier Bay Books' website, you'll get more information on where you can pick this manga up. And last but not least here on this manga haul, we have a manga that I've always wanted to read. I kept seeing it on Manga Mogura's feed. I kept seeing it being recommended by friends of mine on Twitter that read Japanese manga. And it's an artist that I have been really intrigued by ever since following them and checking out their art. And that is Shima Shinya's Lost Lad London. Now, I will be doing a separate review video for Lost Lad London because I do have a lot to say about it, and it has quickly become one of my favorite reads of 2022. The best way I can summarize Lost Lad London without diving too deep into it is essentially Luther meets the Night of. And that is, I think, hilarious because if you can see the character designs here, that is very clearly Idris Elba and Riz Ahmed. Like, I'm not even, it's no joke. Like, that is 100% their inspiration. But all in all, it's a really good mystery manga. I definitely recommend picking it up, and I don't want to wait for volume 2. I need it now. Anyways, folks, that is it for today's video. If you liked any of the manga you see, you want to know a little bit more about it, or you got some of the same manga that I did as well, let me know in the comments below or on social media at Uchuu Shelf on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Your support means a heck of a lot to me. Shows me that you guys want to see more manga-related content like this and more. But that's all I can say for now. Until next time, folks, happy reading.
Outro. This is an outro. Yeah. You're free to go now. Seriously, leave. I mean, why are you sitting here, man? Get out of here, man. Go. Come on. Leave. Goodbye.